So this is one of the other things that you can do if you're not as comfortable with the muscle testing, is keep records of the contacts with foods, chemicals, and odors, and include what kind of physical symptoms, behavioral symptoms, emotional symptoms you're getting, so that you start seeing a connection between things. With children, the way to check for things with children is to see if they have typical allergies, if they have the runny nose from the pollen and the ragweed and things like that. If they are kind of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, they're A's one day, F's the next day. Good kid one day, bad kid the other day. Okay in the morning, terrible in the afternoon. That's a real sign that there's an allergic reaction causing the problems. And also if they crave certain foods or odors, the parents will say, I can't stop them from smelling the gas or something, or I can't stop them from eating this certain food. So that's like a trigger for you. And what you do another thing with the children is to notice if they have the red earlobes or cheeks, dark eye circles, and that can even get purple sometimes. They get so weird looking. Puffy bags under the eyes, sort of glazed eyes, and then this kind of nose rub where they kind of rub their nose. You can see some of those in adults too, but it's really pronounced in kids, and their ears like they're on fire. And I always tell people this, but the reason I talk about these things in children is I used to be, when I was in Madison, Wisconsin, I was the head of the Learning and Behavior Clinic at the hospital. And that meant all the children with behavior problems from the state would come to see me. And when I think back about those kids in the 70s or so, they all had these symptoms. And I was treating them with behavior therapy. And I feel, I feel like I did a disservice, and I don't want any kid to have that disservice again. So if you see anybody with these symptoms, just know to think about allergies. Okay, and then actually Doris Rapp gave me a really good idea. Like in her book, and I don't know why I hadn't thought of it, she was saying that just have the child draw or write something before they ingest the substance, and then have them draw or write after, just like she did in the book. I don't know why it never dawned on me. So any of you working with children, that's certainly a good thing to do. And then I just came up, and I haven't tried it yet, I must say. I just talked with Doris Rapp a couple weeks ago. But with adults, see if there's some kind of mental task. It would be very interesting to do before and after of being exposed to something, and something that they would have to be very quick on. So if you guys can come up with some good mental tasks for us to do a pre and post, that would be a wonderful, wonderful service. The heart rate variability, and we just bought a machine when we were in Phoenix, so we'll be playing with it, but that is one way to identify if something is an allergic substance for you. Now, here's my theory for the people who have difficulty with muscle testing. If a substance is worth testing, it's worth treating. So when I'm thinking about, is it an infection, or is it the plastic in the eye, or the metal here, or is it some other metal implanted in your body, or if it's some food that they really like, I would test them in the office, but it's worth treating for it. It's not that hard, it's fast, and 90% of the time, at least, when I've done the detective work, probably more than 90% of the time, if I've done the detective work and I test it, it's usually something that is bad, so you might as well just treat it. Does that make sense to you guys as an alternative? Okay, so let's do some stuff. So, everything suspect, is there some place you can kind of begin? And I always suggest beginning, and these are the things I put together for what I call my core collection. As you can see, the first 6 are from Dr. Devi's because I got such good results using hers. They work. And then I always want to know, why is someone having so many reactions? Why is someone this universal reactor that will be allergic to every single thing in the world? And so what I came up with is that the heavy metals, toxic chemicals, petrochemicals, pesticides, and vaccines were at least at the time when I made this up, the main things that I could see that we're setting the body up for infections, for parasites, for allergies, for viruses, for all kinds of problems. Dr. Char, okay. He just told me, and it was really neat, talking about the heavy metals, that in 1997, the World Health Organization made a statement that 80% of diseases, all chronic illnesses, were from toxic metals. That is huge. 80% of chronic diseases were from toxic metals. And this is the World Health Organization saying this. So one of the big toxic metals are like what's in your teeth, what's in your body, what we're exposed to. One of the things Dr. Charo also said during break, which I thought was fascinating, that some people can handle, let's say, 5 gold crowns, but can't handle the 6th, and that takes them over the top. The rain barrel overflows. So the metals are really important. Let's see. And then I'm going to go through all these, but this is my core collection. And what I have in here, well, there's a couple extras here, but this is my expanded core collection. And these are my little vials that include my basic ones that I always suggest testing on, and then the other ones that I have felt, this kept coming up as important ones. That seemed, in the beginning, this was the only kit I had. And these were the important ones that I thought to begin with. Mm-hmm. Oh, you can get the kit here. I have one sample set that I had over there. You can order. I have a little order sheet. You can, if you want a credit card, you can put it on here. Or you can order it from my website. I have 8 of these different kits, and then smaller little kits, but 8 of the bigger ones.
Question?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm really surprised that I don't see wheat on there as one of the top allergens.
Well, it's not. It is. It's basically one of the worst allergens. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. One of the reasons, I mean, maybe it's just me. I don't put it up there because, in reality, I know this is an awful thing to say. I usually just tell people to get off of it. Wheat is one of the hardest things to clear. I can clear arsenic and mercury before I can clear wheat. Wheat, there's some, and I don't know if it's because wheat has been so much of our diet for so many years. It's just a really difficult one to clear. I have it in my foods collection, but I don't have it in this one. The grains, and all the grains themselves are basically the most reactive kind of things. But the reason for this, these are the ones that affect the function of our body, if that makes any sense. These are like the underlying strength of your body that you need. And wheat is kind of like a substance that you put in on top of it. It's not inherent in the functioning of our body, if that makes any sense. But I really do think wheat is not good. And I've had a hard time clearing wheat, and Callahan says you can't clear wheat, and Devi says it's hard to clear wheat, and you talk to a lot of people. Wheat is really difficult. And what I've heard from people is that many, many, many generations ago, when they decided to bioengineer wheat a long time ago, not what they're doing now, but a long time ago, different strains, they wanted to make it resistant to pesticides, resistant to bugs. And so the wheat created its own pesticide. And so we're then reacting to the pesticide. So it doesn't matter if it's organic. It doesn't matter, if it's grown on hallowed ground. The wheat is not very good. Mm-hmm.
How about sprouted wheat?
Sprouted wheat. Sprouted wheat is better than the other wheat, than the processed wheat. And I haven't really tested much of it, but that's my experience. If you have some, we'll test some. It's a processed wheat that really gives most of the problem. Okay, so what I want to do is just give you my conceptual framework, which is this, that we come in with a certain genetic propensity for having allergies. Then we get a weakened immune system. That weakened immune system can be from exposure to toxins, from nutrient deficiency, because if you're allergic to something, you're not absorbing it, or trauma. All those things can weaken your immune system, and then you end up reacting to all these different triggers. And the wheat I would put more in the trigger over here. I'll tell you the other reason why I didn't put wheat in, now if I think about it clearly, is that wheat was, a lot of times people bring food into the office, and it was easier to have a piece of a cracker or something. I just clear people and things like that. I just wanted to go over real quickly what's in these, because I think this is so cool. Anyway, my toxic chemical vial. These are the top 6 toxins that are in our fat tissue on autopsy. So this is what's left in our bodies when we're dead. And disposable cups, carpet backing, mothballs, herbicides, wood treatments, gasoline, paints, that's in us. And this is my heavy metals. You know what? Why don't we do some testing while I'm up here? What I wanted to do, and then I'm going to do something with the heavy metals, is just test somebody on something from the core collection. Okay. Would people like to see that at least? Okay. Who would like to come up? Oh, you were saying you were going to come, right? Okay.
We're looking primarily for the
MS.
yeah.
Yeah.
MSG.
She came up to me saying that she had a reaction to MSG. So I wanted to test her. So I'm gonna do this kind of muscle testing. And I always do say my name is, and say your name.
My name is Nancy.
Say my name is Benjamin Franklin.
My name is Benjamin Franklin.
Good. Think of something wonderful that's happened in your life. Got it? Good. Think of something terrible that's happened in your life. Okay, good. Think of someone you love. Think of someone you're upset with, annoyed with. Okay, good. Say yes.
Yes.
And say no.
No.
Good. Okay. Now, I always do that. I don't know if you all were taught to do that. Is it just a way to monitor and calibrate how her arm is going to work, so she knows what I'm expecting from her, you know, so we can, like, if arm didn't go down at all, we could do a sort of a training session. And I know that her arm goes down a little bit. It doesn't fall all the way here, and it's not just one of those people that move a little bit. I got an idea about her arm. Okay, good. Great. So she said she had a problem with MSG, so let's see. So we're going to do this. Yep, that certainly goes down. Now I check severity. So do your 4th finger, 3rd finger, index finger. Okay. So I just get a mild reaction, not a real severe reaction, actually.
It can vary.
Okay. So let me just say, now she came saying she didn't have any other reactions. I want to just check that, because a lot of people who come in aren't aware of other problems. Okay. Okay, and do your 4th finger. Okay, and that's even more severe. What that is calcium.
Right.
Okay, let me explain. I wasn't going to go into all this detail, but I'm just automatically do it. 4th finger means it's a severe reaction, moderate reaction, mild reaction, then open hand is very mild reaction. That's just what I do. It's not something that you have to do. It just gives me a handle on how bad of a problem is it.
And you do it with your finger?
No,
She does it. I often do it to model it, but I have her do it.
With which hand?
Hmm.
With which hand? The hand that's
I have
testing.
the one that I'm testing her with. Okay. So she's actually worse with the calcium.
Now, how do you treat?
You treat like, okay. So we're just going to do the normal EFT for her. Even though I have a problem, and I do the old-fashioned. I'm sorry. I don't do the Gary thing. Okay. So you do the, no, first you rub on the.
The spots.
Can you rub on the sore spot? Even though I have a problem with calcium,
Even though I have a problem with calcium,
I deeply and profoundly accept myself.
I deeply and profoundly accept myself.
Even though I have a problem with calcium,
Even though I have a problem with calcium,
I deeply and profoundly accept myself.
I deeply and profoundly accept myself.
And again,
Even though I have a problem with calcium, I deeply and profoundly accept myself.
Problem with calcium.
Problem with calcium. Problem with calcium. Problem with calcium. Problem with calcium.
Oh, good.
Problem with calcium. Problem with calcium.
Okay, let's see how we did. Good, and do your fingers forward. Next one, third, index. Open your hand. Okay,
I like this.
that was real. Now that was strong. You could feel the difference in your
Yeah.
arm, right? Okay, it's really easy. It's just doing the same EFT, and I do it the old-fashioned way, with a substance. That part's pretty easy. Okay, so you know, in my office, here's the next thing I would do, but you don't have to do this. Treatment's complete 100%, 100% in the future. Yes. Okay, good. And what you do is the next time you came back, I'd check you again. So, and if you came in, let's say you're taking calcium pills, now you could have come in with calcium pills and I would have checked you. Okay? But you know what? A lot of people are really reactive to calcium. Just treat your calcium. Treat your vitamin pills in the morning. You know, treat them individually, or you can take them all as a group, because your body's having to assimilate all those nutrients all at the same time. So put them in your hand and treat yourself. Now that didn't take very long to treat. I mean, you could be saving yourself so much, you know, pain and suffering and everything else by just treating yourself on your supplements.
So what would you say?
What would you say? Even though I have a problem with these vitamins and minerals, I deeply and profoundly accept myself. Even though I have a bad reaction to some of these, or you may say, even though I may have a bad reaction to some of these vitamins and minerals, I deeply and profoundly accept myself. Yeah.
Hi.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see you. I'm sorry.
She has braces on, and
I know that.
and
Yeah,
most of the braces have nickel in there.
I was going to get to that.
okay.
Thank you, because I looked and I said, "Oh, she's got braces. That's
Yeah.
really effective." But
It'd
thank
be
you for
interesting to
reminding me.
check it.
I thought about it as soon as we started, and then I didn't. Thank you very much. What I do with people with braces, I just have people touch the braces. Okay, and do your fingers down. Yeah, yeah. So what I do with that is that, I mean, I have a vial for the metals and all that, but she's just touching this. It's just like she has the substance. You know, these are wonderful. I use these all the time because you can't have everything in your office, but if you've got something on your teeth, then you do this. So touch there. Okay, and rub there. Even though I have a problem with the metals in my mouth,
Even though I have a problem with the metals in my mouth, I deeply and profoundly accept myself.
And again.
Even though I have a problem with metals in my mouth, I deeply and profoundly accept myself. Even though I have a problem with metals in my mouth, I deeply and profoundly accept myself.
problem.
Problem in the mouth.
See if you can. Yeah.
Problem with metal.
This is
problem
like
with
hard,
metal,
yeah.
Problem with metal.
Problem with metal. Problem with metal. Problem with metal. Problem with metal. Okay, and then put your finger back up there and let's see. Okay, and try your fingers. 4, third, index, and open your hand. Good. Now I was pressing pretty hard on that.
She is.
Yeah, I'm really pressing hard. So that's one way you can do something, and that is common. Especially metal crossing the midline of the body is really bad. Any metal in the body is really bad. In fact, there was someone else I wanted to work on, there she is, around metal. So that's how we would do it. What I'm going to do, because I want to work on this other one, is I'm going to give you, what I want you to do is I want you to go to your seat and treat yourself on the MSG, and then we'll test you and see if you got it on your own.
Okay,
Because
good.
that's what we really want, is for each person to be able to treat themselves. Okay, why doesn't this person come up? Okay.
Could I just ask a question?
Yeah, she's asking if I check for being switched. I'm sorry, then I'll get. After I don't normally, when I do my 4 questions, if I get the answers that should be getting, I usually don't go through that. If I'm feeling that they're not giving, the answers are not consistent, I've learned this wonderful technique where you take the wrist of one hand and you like brace it into the wrist of the other hand. I don't know, it's kind of an awkward position. But what it is the meridians on one hand are up against the meridians of the other hand, and you go like this, and you just hold it there for a few minutes. And it's actually a wonderful balancing thing to do for yourself anytime. And it will balance all your meridians and get rid of any, polarity switching and all that kind of stuff. So that's what I do. Oh, actually, I brought you up, and I need to talk a little bit. Do you mind standing here, or you can stand? Or okay. What I just wanted to talk about was, okay. You'll be the star. Just wanted to talk a little bit about the heavy metals, and then I'm going to go on to her. So these are the heavy metals that are in my heavy metal vial. And obviously, heavy metal is a big problem. We just heard this. This is going into my next manual, this new information. But like cadmium is from cigarette smoke, so that's important. Okay. Okay. Thank you. My peripheral vision I have to work on. So I'm going to do this real quick, and then I'll work on her, and then we'll have a break. The kids I work with autism, they have a lot of mercury, they have a lot with problems with silver, a lot with copper that I found. The thing I'm real interested in is the surgical steel and titanium and surgical steel. How this got started is I had two patients with multiple chemical sensitivities that were so similar. It was a male and a female, but they were like so weak. They just looked similar. They were so weak. They walked, and I felt like they wouldn't have the energy to turn the doorknob. And I was thinking one day about them, about how they were so weak and so similar. And it dawned on me, they both had titanium markers in their body. And what they are little markers the doctors put in after surgery so that they can see things if they have another x-ray. So they put these titanium markers in there, which are not supposed to cause any problems. And I realized they both had them. And then I started asking people. And so now I have a whole bunch of people who have had autoimmune diseases after they've had metal implanted in their bodies. And if anybody else comes up with some people, it would be great, because I have a physician who would write it up. The medical people have no idea about this. I have people with Sjogren's disease, multiple sclerosis, lupus, fibromyalgia, multiple chemical sensitivities, Crohn's disease. I mean, lots of things that happen after these pieces of metal are implanted in their bodies. So then I have this. So I have this whole group. I gave this presentation, I think it was in Toronto, and someone in the audience came up and said, I had my stomach stapled, 10 years ago or something like that, and for losing weight, and she was still really heavy. And she said that she was on all these lists, these email lists, and the email lists for people who had their stomach stapled. And she says there's so many people who have autoimmune diseases that are on this list. And nobody's putting two and two together. No one's seeing the connection between the metal in their bodies and the problems. Because often the people doing the surgery are not the people you're going to with your symptoms. So if we can get more information and more people, we can do something about that. The other thing with the metal was I felt I did this wonderful service to somebody, to this wonderful nun. I had a patient who was a nun, and she had a knee replacement. And she couldn't kneel, and that's not good when you're a nun. So I got my little vial of titanium surgical steel, and I went right where the knee replacement was. Where it went weak, we treated, and we just went till all around the areas. It was strong everywhere. And then she was able to kneel. So she's now able to kneel. So I felt like I did a service. So Mary had come up to me and said, "Oh, about metal, I have these staples in me, right?"
Breast cancer and there's staples all over it.
Okay, can you come on up? Now, if you don't know muscle testing and someone says they have staples all over You don't need to test. You just treat. And you would treat for both the staples and the trauma of the surgery. So you do both. I like to do, even if I'm doing the trauma of the surgery, I do it while I'm holding the titanium surgical steel vial or a piece of paper, a little Post-it saying surgical steel, titanium. I don't know if the staples are surgical steel, right?
I think so.
Okay.
But I also have a very weird energy-depleting disease called Waldenstrom's macroglobulinemia.
Wow. The fact that you can say that.
Yeah, it took me a week to say it, but it's gotten about 5 years after the breast implant.
We got another person for our study. No, but that's, okay. So how long ago was the
13
staples?
years ago was the staple.
And then a few years after that
was
was the...
this Waldenstrom's.
Okay, well, you know, I can't guarantee that one with another, but I just see too many people with that. Okay, so you would just treat her for the surgical steel, right? Okay, well, even if you don't muscle test, but I just want to see what we can do. Okay, now you're just really fighting. You don't have to fight so hard. I do a real light muscle test. Okay, so just say, my name is, and say your name.
My name is Mary.
Okay, and say, my name is Benjamin Franklin.
My name is Benjamin Franklin.
Good. Think of something wonderful that's happened in your life.
Okay.
Good. Think of something terrible that's happened in your life. Okay, good. Think of someone you love. Got it? Think of someone you're upset with, annoyed with. Is that okay? Sometimes people can't think of someone they're upset with, annoyed with, so I just say, there's always a political person.
No, that's right.
Okay, so just say yes
Yes.
and say no.
No.
Okay, so where did this go? So first I want to just try it in her hand. And that's weak. And do your fourth finger. Good. Now I want you to place it near where one of the staples might be.
Probably.
Okay. Now, could you feel the difference in your... Can you see the difference? There's nothing. Nothing. She can't hold it up at all. So take that out. Wait for a second while I talk. I don't want you. But that's what I have found consistently is if you go to the place of the problem, even if you're just touching it while you're thinking it, if you're not using a vial or a piece of paper, if you're touching it while you're thinking about the problem, you're going to get more of a reaction. I feel it's the body is saying, okay, zero in on this place. Okay, so put your arm over there. Okay. So that's going to be harder to do this.
Yeah, but I can.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, I just want you to be able to rub your sore spot and rub it on the left side. You guys all know that if you're going to do just one side, you do the left side? Do you know that? Okay, because this is a neurolymphatic drainage area, and 75% of the drainage is from the left side and only 25% from the right side. So if you're going to do unilateral, do the left side. Okay. Okay, even though I have a problem with steel implanted in my body,
Even though I have a problem with
steel implanted in my body, I deeply accept myself. Again,
Even though I have a
problem with steel implanted in my body, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I have a problem with steel implanted in my body, I deeply and completely accept myself. Problem with steel in my body. 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 And problem with steel in my body. Okay, now let's see how we did. Okay, now it's not 100%, but let's try the fourth finger. Okay, she's okay on the fourth. Then the next one. Okay, so it went from a severe to a moderate. So we're going to do it again.
Okay.
I'm going to rub on you so this will be easier.
Okay.
Even though I have a problem with steel implanted in my body,
Even though I have a problem with steel implanted in my body, I deeply and completely accept myself.
okay,
Even though I have a problem with steel implanted in my body, I deeply accept and love myself. Even though I have a problem with steel implanted in my body, I deeply accept and love myself.
problem with steel in my body,
Problem with steel in my body.
problem with steel in my body, problem with steel in my body, problem with steel in my body, problem with steel in my body,
problem with
Steel in my body. Okay, let's see how we do now. Oh, that's a lot better. Do your fingers 4, 3rd, index. Open your hand. Good. Now you could feel the difference, right?
I could feel the difference.
There's a huge difference because before there was nothing. Now we're going to have to take a break, but I want to see. Can you move it to another place?
It's all around. this.
Okay, so just put it in another place.
Okay.
And there it's weak again. Now it's not as weak as it was before, but I would treat again.
All around.
I would treat all around every place.
Okay.
And then I would sort of go for, even though the breast surgery was traumatic, even though I had trauma of the breast surgery, I deeply and profoundly accept myself.
Okay.
In fact, let's just try that. Do you mind waiting?
No.
Okay.
Oh, I don't.
Okay. Okay. And let's try the fingers on that. See. I'll just stay on the 4th. Good. Then the middle. Yeah. So it's not the severe, but it's moderate. Okay. Even though the breast surgery was traumatic, something like that.
Even though the breast surgery was very traumatic,
Okay.
I totally love and accept myself.
Good. And again.
Even though the breast surgery was
It was
very
very
traumatic,
traumatic.
I deeply
And
love and accept myself. Even though the breast surgery was very traumatic, I deeply love and accept myself.
Breast surgery was traumatic. 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 Good. Now do your fingers. 4, 3rd, index, and open your hand. Good. And either one of those work,
Okay.
but I would alternate and do both. And the
Okay.
fact, see, one of the reasons I like having the vials or a piece of paper is I feel like even when she's talking about the trauma of the surgery, the energy is here. She's got the focus of the energy right there in her fingertips and on her skin. Okay, good. I would take this and go all around and treat all around because,
Thank you.
yeah,
I would be glad.
yeah, just keep treating. Okay. Okay, let's see. It's 4 o'clock, 4:15. Break till 4:15. You can just treat yourself for your foods. Treat what you eat. You can eat, like if you eat a meal and you say, ooh, I don't feel so great, if you either test the things from the meal or just clear everything from that meal. One of the things I do with people is have them bring in combinations of what they eat. So in a napkin, you put everything you ate for a meal, you hold it and treat yourself. Even though I have a problem with some of the foods I had for lunch, I deeply and profoundly accept myself. Or you can put them in a jar and put the whole day's food. Now it's really disgusting looking. Because you got your whatever you drink and whatever you eat, all little pieces of stuff. It's disgusting, but you hold it because you get the energy through the glass and you treat, even though I have a problem with the food I ate today. Dr. Devi Namboodrapad had as a newsletter, and on that newsletter there was a woman who has not been able to lose weight in any way. And what she did is every time she gained, she said, a half a pound, if she just went up a half a pound, she would test everything she ate the day before and treat everything that she had eaten, and she was able to lose 50 pounds. She had never been able to lose weight before. So why not, you don't even have to take that step, why not just treat everything you eat? And you would be taking away any of that reaction. And eventually, you would have enough combinations, like we never eat food, we rarely eat just one food, maybe a piece of fruit here or there, but when you're eating meals, you're rarely eating just one type of food, you're eating a combination. And as you treat various combinations, you are eventually going to have all the different combinations of foods that you might be having, and then your body's going to be okay with it.
There's another man that was telling me some of the things that he uses, and he said, just get in the habit of, like you say grace, or some people do, or whatever, say prayer before they eat. Just say, as part of that, say, I'm asking for my body to be compatible with all the energy of the food that I'm eating at this meal.
And
that's
beautiful.
before you eat
right.
it.
And that's before you eat, or you can do it with, and you can put it in with EFT points,
Yeah.
instill the good, everything I'm eating is compatible. I absorb it, and it's healthy for me, and I feel great, and I feel healthy and wonderful and beautiful and strong. And you can add all kinds of things of how this food is going to give you health. And it's sort of a modern day prayer thing.
I had asked you the question, you asked me to repeat it, was if we could be allergic to money in its various forms. That is
Yes.
change, greenbacks, checks, maybe even credit cards, or...
Right, yeah, definitely. I mean, you can be actually allergic to the actual substance of the money, but I think also the concept of money. And so you can treat people for money. We can do that? Okay. Who's got a lot of money? Anybody got a big bill?
I'll get more. I got more.
Okay. No, this is great. I would love anyone got a, who wants to be treated for money? Lynn, you want to be treated for money? Everybody. Oh, we're going to treat the whole room. We're going to, okay. Okay. You want to be the guinea pig?
Want more money? Take the credit cards.
What I was looking for was like some hundreds or 50s, but that's okay.
I'm a musician. Okay.
No, I don't expect it coming from you. No. Okay, here.
Okay.
Yeah, let's, like a 500.
500. Do we have 1,000?
Okay. 500. Now I'm going to take the metal off. I'm not taking any money. Watch. See, nothing goes in my sleeves. Okay.
I wish Gary could see this one.
He will. He'll see it on tape. Okay, first let me see your muscle testing. Okay, can people see here? Okay, a little bit stronger. Okay, my name is?
My name is Lynn.
Okay, my name is Benjamin
My
Franklin.
name is Benjamin Franklin.
Good, okay, I'm just going to do this a little bit. Think of something wonderful that's happened in your life. Think of something terrible that's happened in your life. Okay. Think of someone you love. Think of someone you're upset with, annoyed with. Good. Say yes.
Yes.
And say no.
No.
Great. Okay. Why don't you hold these $500 worth of... Okay. Wow. Okay, do your fourth finger and thumb like this. I just want to see if it's a severe. This is a severe reaction to money.
That's been the problem.
No, we're going to cure it for everybody, so we're going to all tap along.
I'll just go like this at the end.
No, everyone's going to throw money at you then.
They did.
Okay, great. So, I'm trying to think if there's a special place where you would hold it.
The money?
Yeah, right there.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So, even though why don't you do both sides?
Okay.
Even though I have a problem with money,
No, I have a problem
with money, and react to it negatively,
I react to it negatively.
and so subconsciously keep it away from me.
Self-consciously
Keep it away from me. I deeply and profoundly accept myself. I deeply and profoundly accept myself. Say it again. Even though I have a problem with money and have a bad reaction to money, and somehow keep it away from me. Keep it away from me. I deeply and completely accept myself. Okay. And again, even though I have a problem with money, the added reaction to it, and somehow keep it from me. I deeply and completely accept myself. Okay. Problem with money. 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 That's a bad reaction to, oh, good. Bad reaction to money. Bad reaction to money. Bad reaction to money. Bad reaction to money. Reaction to money. I'm reaction to money. Bad reaction to money. Subconsciously keep it away, money away from me. Subconsciously keep 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 money away from me. And then we're going to put the positive. I deeply and completely accept myself. I deeply and completely accept myself.
And all the money.
And all the money.
Yeah.
I deeply and completely accept lots of money.
Lots of money.
Deeply and completely accept lots of money. I deeply and completely accept lots of money. I deeply and completely accept lots of money. Deeply and completely accept lots of money. I deeply and completely accept lots of money. I deeply and completely accept lots of money. I just want to do one more. I deeply and completely accept and keep lots of money because it can come in and out. Lots of money. I deeply and completely accept and keep. Oh, well, yeah, but you've got to be okay keeping it, and then you can choose. I want to keep the money. Did you hear what she said? She said, well, we want to share. But see, but you got to keep it first. Keep it first. Because when you have a lot of money, you really can do so much good in the world. But if you don't have the money, you can't share and do as much good in the world. So, okay. We could. Do you want to make it more specific? Like,
He said, be more specific than just saying a lot. What is a lot?
okay. Okay, that's true.
Can I have a comment?
Yeah.
Can I have a
Abundance.
comment?
Can we just turn them all on? Yeah, I got them on. Okay.
Okay. You go.
A sentence that I've used is, I have as much as I need and plus a little extra.
I wanted a lot more. Yeah. A lot more. Abundance. Is abundance, what?
$2 million a year.
Okay. Even though I'm,
Can I make one comment?
okay, let's muscle test how much she can handle.
I would like to just bring attention to what you said, Lynn. Did you notice when you were asked for a larger bill, you said, I am a musician. You have linked musician to small bills.
Yeah. You can say, you probably need to say, as a musician, I have $2 million this year. Okay, let's see. Is that okay, guys?
It was a
okay.
joke.
Okay, let's see how much she's okay with. Have you guys ever done this before? Okay. As a musician, I earn $50,000 this year.
As a musician, I earned $50,000 this year.
Okay. No.
Oh, did you hear
Did
that?
I dislocate your?
Did you hear that?
Yeah. Are you okay?
Yeah.
Okay. What would be a better way to say this, guys? I want to put in musician, and I want, so that's, see, you're not ready to even accept 50,000. Do you? Oh, okay. Okay. I deserve more than 50.
I deserve more than $50,000.
I deserve more than $50,000. Okay, you're right. I deserve more than $100,000.
I deserve more than $100,000.
I deserve for more than $500,000 a year.
I deserve more than $500,000 a year.
Good. I deserve more than $1,000 a year.
What?
I deserve more than $1,000 $100,000.
Hello. Okay.
100.
I deserve more than $100,000.
No, $1 million. Where am I at?
Wait. We're on a million.
500,000.
Yeah. Okay.
$500,000. $1 million a year.
I deserve more than $1 million a year.
God, I deserve more than $2 million a year.
I deserve more than $2 million a year
Okay.
as a musician.
I deserve more than $2 million a year as a
I
musician.
deserve more than $2 million a year as a musician.
Well, that's where it's starting to go.
Oh, $2 million. Okay.
Now, just a second. There's deserve. You may feel like you deserve it. Do you believe you're going to get it? I believe I will earn more than $2 million.
Earn?
Or
Receive.
receive. I will.
Earn sounds like too much work.
Okay. I believe. I know. I will.
Okay. I believe.
I will
How about I
receive.
choose to earn
I
that
believe
much?
I will receive where are we at?
$2
$2 million a year as a musician.
Well, that's
You
not
did it
too bad.
twice, though. First you did it, so I
Oh,
relaxed, and then you did it
okay.
again. It went out.
I was surprised.
Do it right.
Yeah.
We're all
Sandra?
going to the casino after
Yeah, this is really, I'm just so surprised. I'm so surprised that she's strong in all this. I believe,
not.
oh, good.
Okay.
I believe I will receive.
Sandra?
I choose to,
He wants to.
Can I suggest
Sure,
I
yes.
choose to receive or I choose to earn?
great.
Okay, thank you.
I choose to receive or earn. $2
I
million.
choose to receive or earn. I don't like that earn. It doesn't sound like a
I
lot
choose
of
to
work.
receive.
Can it be received?
I choose to
Okay.
receive.
I'm tired of the word. I choose to receive more than $2 million a year as a musician.
I choose to receive $10 million.
I choose to receive more than $10 million a year as a musician? What?
You didn't do anything. You're strong at everything.
So now what?
Okay. We did it. Oh, I'm so spacey that I thought we treated for the money and it went all the way up. Oh my God, we did great. I was thinking we hadn't treated enough.
We did treat.
We treated for the money.
So now what? I have to give back the
No,
money?
I want you to hold it. I want you to hold it in your hands again.
Okay. There might be children on this. Okay.
Okay, and use your fingers. Fourth finger, next finger, next one, and open your hand. Okay, so you're strong. Okay. Okay, can I have this?
Yes.
Does anybody else want to see if they got the benefit? Sure. Okay. Who wants?
Go right up here. You've got to get
Oh,
her
here.
up here. because
Okay,
if you
here.
don't get her up here, I'll never hear the end.
Okay.
Let's give her a round of
Oh yeah, test each other. That's great.
I don't want to.
Okay, so just, yeah, test each other. And see how high the money goes.
Do I need to hold the money?
Yeah, but I just want to get, my name is and say your name.
My name is Teresa.
Okay, say my name is Benjamin Franklin.
My name is Benjamin Franklin.
Good. Say yes
Yes.
and say no.
No.
Good. That's all. You're okay on it? Okay, I choose to receive more than $100,000 this year.
I choose to receive more than $100,000 this year.
I choose to receive more than $500,000 this year.
I choose to receive more than $500,000 this year.
I choose to receive more than $1 million this year.
I choose to receive more than $1 million this
I
year.
choose to receive more than $2 million this year.
I choose to receive more than $2 million this year.
You're strong. You did it.
And keep it.
Oh, and keep it, right, and keep it. I choose to keep $2 million this year.
I choose to keep $2 million a year this year.
That's not as strong. Do your fourth finger, next finger, and open your hand. Good. Okay, great. That's good.
Please.
What?
Please, can I have a go? It's so exciting.
Oh, sure.
You should never limit yourself.
Yeah, I choose to receive more than $1 million.
I choose to receive more than £1 million a year. Well,
And is that good? Is £1 million good for
It's
you?
not bad. It's
Okay.
not bad. I'm quite happy with that.
Okay, I choose to receive and keep more than
I
$2
choose
million.
to receive to keep more than £2 million a year. Yeah, that's okay. I'm happy with that. Better get that back. Thanks very
Okay.
much.
No, but I don't care. Yeah. Yeah, I know. People are having a good time, though.
Specific how? I mean, now you ask me, I just
No,
receive.
no,
I mean,
because if your body's ready for it, it'll just come. How are you guys doing?
Thank you very much for this.
Oh, good, good. Let me check you and make sure you're strong.
Okay.
I don't know if he's still, and put it by,
This is the worst place,
why did you say it's the worst?
because this is where the cancer was, and they've dug out everything. There was nothing but skin there and staples.
Okay, good, and it's
Yeah.
nice and strong.
Yeah, good.
Okay. Now, what we just did was for money, and I hope everyone gets the benefits, and next time, when we all get together, we'll have so much money that we'll put millions of dollars into the box, because we'll all be so rich. People can also be allergic to people, places. You can be allergic to your children. A big one was being allergic to your fetus. Dr. Devi feels that a lot of the most main cause of miscarriage is being allergic to your fetus when you're pregnant. And I've cleared people and they get rid of that nausea that's lasted through the whole pregnancy. So, I mean, people can be, you can be allergic. I have siblings hold each other's hand as though that they were a substance, and you clear each other on them, and it helps, their conflicts and things like that.
Can I make a suggestion before we go on?
Sure.
That when we personally experience a total shift in our relationship with money, that we email you, so then you'll have it as a testimonial?
That would be wonderful. And I will send out, I'll tell Gary, and he has all your names and everything, so we can send information to everybody. That would be great. And we will we'll do something wonderful, because when we have that much, then we have the ability to share and do wonderful things. Great. Thank you so much.
Sandy,
Uh-huh. Where? Oh, there.
can you tell me what you do for the morning sickness?
I-
What words do you use, or what do you
used
test?
was, I wrote on a piece of paper, my baby or my fetus, and I put it on the pregnant woman's stomach, and just said, even though I have a problem with it's basically a different frequency, because it's a different substance. The baby's a different frequency than you are. So you don't want to say you have a bad reaction to my baby, but you just say something that I'm having a problem with the different frequency of my baby. And it's really helpful. It's the same. It's basically using the same EFT, but using it for substances. So where do we start? I like to have people start with the core collection. We check foods. I had brought this up as one of the things, because I got to the food thing, there wasn't any food left to bring, but to try different foods. Just try anything that you're eating. Medications. Do you have this thing in the top 7 reactive foods? Okay. Those top 7, just clear them. You don't have to muscle test them. Most people are reactive to those things. Medications are really important to treat. I always find anybody who's taking things like insulin, hormone replacement, Synthroid, ones they take all the time, those especially, people are always reactive to. So you don't have to muscle test. If someone's taking those medications or you're taking them, just treat for them. You might as well. You're putting them in your body. They're strong medications. Treat for them. And any medication you've had a problem in the past. I had somebody who had all this fatigue before her period. She couldn't do anything. She was irritable and terrible, and she had to sleep all the time. And she had been on estrace. They had put her on that several years before. She had been miserable on it. They made her stay on it for 6 months. And once we cleared estrace, she was fine. She had energy, and all her menstrual cramps went away. So, you don't have to muscle test. It came up that she had this bad reaction to this medication. Assume that it's something that you can treat for. Yes?
Well, what about just treating for the disease, say the diabetic or the chronic fatigue?
I haven't found as much response for that, and I have tried that. So any kind of medication that you have bad side effects. I had a person who came in with GI, all these tests, and back pain, and couldn't find out what was going on. She had started taking progesterone. We treated her for the progesterone. One treatment, and her back pain went away. She was also using Lamisil for her toe fungus. As soon as we cleared that, all her gastrointestinal symptoms went away. So those can be bad. Supplements. The supplements can be just as bad as the medications. So realize that. And this is the metal. Outdoor environment. What I tell people to do is go outside. Now you can take a jar half filled with distilled water, put it outside for a few hours, and then close it up, and it gets what's in the air. But the really quick way, and the way I do it in my office, is I take a wet paper towel and I go outside and wave it around things, and I wipe off the car, and whatever. I want to pick up whatever particles in the air, because we don't have to know what it is you're reacting to. We don't have to be the doctor who looks in the PDR and gets the exact thing. We're going to treat for the energy of whatever it is that's in the air. Because when you're thinking you're having a problem with pollen, particles can travel 500 miles a day. So you could be reacting to the oil spill that's 500 miles away. You could be reacting to something else that's going on in a factory somewhere. So get what's in the air, hold that substance, and then treat for it. Even though I have a problem with whatever's in the air, I deeply and profoundly accept myself. So do that. Bodily fluids. Bodily fluids are a really, really big thing. I am real into bodily fluids. Now I started using, I don't have poop on this one, but that in our saliva, we have all the infections and basically infections, parasites, yeast, molds, all that you'd find on a blood test. People are talking about in the future they're just going to have saliva tests instead of blood tests because you get the same information. So we don't have to know what's in your body. If you're treating your bodily fluids, you're going to get a lot of help. So if you're getting an infection, if you're getting a cold, you take your saliva, you spit into a Kleenex or something. I have people hold it and then do the tapping on that. If you're blowing your nose, you're coughing anything up, the infection is in there. Whatever is causing the problems, there might be toxins in there too. Urine, sweat. Sweat's a really important one. I've had many people are reactive to their own sweat because the sweat has toxins that are coming out in it. And so you treat yourself for your own sweat. I got so much to do. Okay. Now, my husband was just at a seminar that I didn't go to recently, but Dr. Gonzalez said that if you treat your saliva, urine, your stool, and your blood, you'll eliminate 50% of your allergies. So I suggest doing that. Even though I have a problem with something in my blood, even though there's something that I'm reacting to in my blood, you can go into other things. You can say even though you can do a few rounds. Even though I have toxins in my blood, even though I have infection in my blood, even though I have parasites, you can add more specificity. But I like to hold the actual substance rather than saying my blood. I sort of wait till somebody hurts themselves, rather than taking blood. But to do a urine sample, to do, saliva, certainly. It's real helpful. I've had some of the autistic kids, they have really bad yeast problems, and so I have them bring in their stool, and I've had kids whose bowels were just a mess, and they got better. So, some other unusual things to test. Oh, I know, the one that isn't on here that I think is so interesting. By the way, detergents, the Downy fabric softener, or those fabric softener things that smell, are like a universal allergen. I mean, nobody can handle those things. And detergents are really, really an important thing. On here, the one I have to add is pencils. That's my newest unusual thing. I have a little autistic boy who had a problem with pencils. And he had such a hard time, his hand would get so tired, he could barely write one word across a whole page. His hand would get so tired. And we cleared him on pencils, and he was able to write. So, you never know what kind of things are going to happen.
When you have a child who's too hyperactive to tap on, have you had, what's your experience with surrogate tapping?
Well, I like to tap on the child, but if I can't, I do the mother. My classic thing was I had this autistic kid who was in, and it was amazing. He was just running and jumping. We couldn't even do surrogate, muscle testing. He was running and jumping and throwing himself into the couch. I was standing at the door, holding the doorknob so he couldn't get out. My husband was muscle testing the mother, and while she focused on the child, and then he treated the mother, and we got a change in the child. But that was pretty dramatic. That was a heavy day. A big one that I discovered that I use a lot are going for the elements. I go for the elements, and this actually was another autistic child. I couldn't clear him on water. I'd treat him on water, and the next week he'd have a problem with water. Next week he'd have a problem with water. So one of the things you need to look at is sometimes you need to go to the ingredients underneath, even more specific than water. And so what I did is I said, in my very non-scientific way, well, what is water? H2O, hydrogen and oxygen. Very simplistic. I wrote out on a piece of paper, hydrogen. He was weak on it. We treated it. I wrote out oxygen, and we treated it. And then I had two pieces of paper with hydrogen, one of oxygen, put it together to make H2O, like putting them together make a compound. And he was weak, and he treated. Once we treated, He was okay with water, and now he's okay on damp days. Before, on damp days, he had a terrible time. Okay, let me. Oh, I got so much more. Now, just in terms of the expanded core collection, I just recently got feedback from a person who had been housebound for 9 years. And she was working at home, and her office couldn't even send a check to her because if there was anything from the air from her office, she couldn't handle it at all. And all she did, she took my expanded core collection plus my elements. She cleared them by herself at home, and now she can go anywhere she wants to. So that was really exciting to me. What I wanted to do is just talk about this research. So I wanted to talk about this research and because I wanted to show that not only are we can have some hard data about this, there is some hard data about making changes. And this was done by Margaret Ayres and Penny Montgomery. And they were doing NAET, which is going down the back, but it's very similar. It's energetically affecting all the meridians on the back, which is the same as reaching these meridians. And what they did is they had a real-time, Margaret Ayres had developed a real-time EEG, because EEG machines usually are averaged over time. And you can't get good data. This is a real-time EEG, so you can really tell what's happening. What she found is that there's an allergic signature in the brain that you can find if you're in contact or have eaten something you're allergic to. Then they did the NAT treatments. They balanced the meridians in relationship to the substance, and that signature went away. So it's very exciting. So what I want to do is show this to you. This is a normal EEG, and I am not an expert at reading these. This is the raw data, and that's really where I usually look. And they're saying that this is how an EEG should look. Okay. Then they were testing a child, so you can see the difference. You see the difference between this and this? Can you see that? So this is the normal, then this is the child they thought had attention deficit disorder. So and they said, it looks like there's this allergic signature. Ask the parents what they thought. And they said, well, I think that he's either allergic to sugar or chocolate, but they didn't know which. So they sent them out. They sent him out to have some candy bars. And this is what happened. And this is measurement from, I think, his frontal lobe. I'm not sure. But can this child sit still? There is no way this child can sit still in school. And that was from eating the candy bars. And then, after the treatment, this is what they had. And the child was able to sit longer. It wasn't EFT, but it's an energy treatment, and I consider all of them the same. They're just happen to be NAAT practitioners, but I wanted you to see that you can actually have hard data on some of this stuff, and I find that real exciting. The second experiment showed that the same thing happens if you're using these little tubes. Holding the tube makes the allergic signature go in your brain, and then fixing it, balancing the meridians, just like you're balancing the meridians here, then takes away that allergic signature from the brain. So that if you, my feeling for people, if they're not going to do the muscle testing, if you're not going to diagnose something, just treat everything. And what that I mean surround the dragon. If someone's having problems, you treat all the ingestants, inhalants, ingestants, injectants, and contactants. Okay. The new detergent, the gasoline, the pollens, the material from the new shirt, anything that's going on in that person's life, you just start treating, because it's not that hard, and you're going to get a lot of results from that, just doing that. Okay. So, I think we already did this other part. Yes?
I think this is an important question. How many can you do at a time, reasonably?
I do whole bunches at a time. But at times I will ask and say, can I do another one, kind of thing. So if you're not diagnosing, it's harder.
I thought he was talking about bunching them, but you're talking about one after another.
Do you mean as a group, or how many one after?
Individual, how many allergies would you treat at a time, muscle test at a time?
Well, what I often do, I will find a bunch of things they're reactive to. I treat them each individually, and then I put them as a combination, and I treat for the whole combination is what I kind of do in my office. That's what I tend to do, because nothing's in unison. You're not ever eating things around things all just at one thing. You can put them together as a combination. Real excited about doing this for emotions. I think there's the same potential for doing this for substances. And what was going through my head is we may be able to clear a whole school on something at a time. So we could really make changes in the world. So what I'd like to do, just to conclude, is I just want everyone to know that you as EFT practitioners are the very best people to be doing this work with allergies. You already have many people in your caseload that have the emotional and physical symptoms caused by allergic reactions. You've got the detective skills and the listening skills to find the aspects, to find the hidden sensitivities. You're already skilled at doing that. And you're already totally skilled at knowing how to balance the body in relationship to something negative. You've been doing it to a negative thought, now you're just going to do it to a negative substance. You have the skills and knowledge to help eliminate a lot of allergic reactions. You have the information and the techniques to end a lot of suffering in this world. So thank you very much.